The station is rough and tough.
Better days are coming. This is the Motivator Show alongside Lady Chelsea. Hey, Lady Chelsea, come on, I can't hear you. Say that again. This is, of course, the Empowerment Show. This is the place where real African power, inspiration is projected through the community and beyond. This is truly a place where we express ourselves, the very best of ourselves. Praise Jah. And of course, this is a place where there be no disparaging, no backbiting, no talking down to ourselves. This is not the place where we speak badly about ourselves. This is truly an empowerment program. This is the place where we refresh, re-energize ourselves. Truly, the Motivator Show, alongside Her Royal Highness, Lady Chelsea. Well done, huh? Well done. And I welcome all those who are listening to the program and you're up early, first thing. And I especially want to welcome those who are listening to the program via YouTube and, of course, Facebook. We are now transmitting via YouTube and Facebook. So I'm truly proud of that fact. But before I begin, I want to give praise to the last presenter, Iron King, that stalwart who ensures that the station continues even in the dead of night, right through to the light of day, to take us into this program. And of course, it's important to give praise to the management, the Galaxy management. Never forgetting Chief Pakambabai, the founder member of the station. Dr. Man Abu Ratata, of course, Elder Erakruti, and never least and always more, Empress Shanice. Give praise to such people, those inspired Africans who ensure that we as a community have our own platform, so we're able to speak about those matters, those issues of importance to our community. I give praise to them all. I give praise. Never forgetting, of course, and never last but not least, how this is being able to continue for so long. Because once you have inspired individuals, never forgetting the technicians, the engineers that ensure that this program can continue to be sent out to you all week in and week out. Give praise to our engineers. We need to continue to grow more engineers, electronic engineers, computer experts. We need more IT specialists. We need to make sure our community grows such people, because the foundations of our success will be founded on our ability to use science and technology to best social and economic effect. I reminded of the words of one of my latter-day guests. Yep. And wonder if I make the quote, those of you can remember who she is. She said, Africa's wealth is not the natural resources that Africa possesses. In other words, the coal, the cobalt, the other natural materials. It's actually the technology from which those natural materials are the base. Yeah, that's where the real wealth is. In other words, you can own large gold mines, but it's not simply the selling of gold that matters. It's the use of gold in the microcircuitry that is the foundation of technology that we're utilizing today. That's where the real wealth is. A microchip per weight compared to gold is far more valuable than a piece of gold bullion. Important lesson, isn't it, Lady Chelsea? Yeah. Yeah, you're a bit quiet there, Lady Chelsea. You're a bit quiet, but it's okay. You know? But it's an important lesson for us to remember. It's not the natural resources, it's the technology, which is the basis from which those natural resources can provide. Yeah, that's why African peoples must invest in technology. In order to do that, we must grow, we must study technology so we can use it for best effect. Very important lesson. I'm going to repeat that lesson again and again and again. So vital, absolutely vital. Okay. So let me just continue, because it's really important to continue to recognize past contributors to the show. I think you would agree, Lady Chelsea, that last week's show was truly inspirational. Yeah? Would you agree? Lady Chelsea. Okay. I know she would. We've lost her for a moment, but she'll be right back. Not only was it a truly inspirational show, we had one of our sons, a 14-year-old son, home educated by an inspired parent. Yeah? Sister Segment. She displayed the power, the majesty of an African mother, love for her child. The young emperor, let me call it the young emperor. Don't get too big in your head now. I know he's listening, so here we go. But I'm going to call him the young emperor. Yeah, Malachi, inspired by the guidance his mother provided, to write an outstanding book. Yeah, an outstanding book, which is now available on YouTube. Yeah, and that book was a testament to what can be achieved when we inspire our young. Yeah. Okay. Oh, we lost you for a second there, sister. Okay. Thank you. Okay, you're back. Great. Yeah. And I often wonder when I listen to some parents discussing their children. Children respond to us. For a parent to be so influential that her son, Malachi, wrote the book about Tutankhamun, entitled The Tale of the Adventurous Boy King. Wow. I've read it a number of times this week. I am so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. Yeah. Oh, he is our son. We take ownership. I know the mum's listening, but we take ownership of him now. What do you think, sister, Lady Chelsea? What did you think?
So I'm excited. I'm so excited to read it. Like, just seeing like last week was a really good experience for me. I was completely. I've never actually spoken to anyone that's been homeschooled, really, and as someone, mother that's taken that on board. She did really well. Like, just feel the love and the bond that they have to each other. Like, especially us. I hope the audience got to as well, but it was definitely obvious. I hope I love her son and vice versa as well. It was really beautiful to see what so much blood with the care and the effort put into someone and what they can produce. Like 14, I know most children have to the kind of write stories, but it's not an enjoyment thing that they come and do by themselves. And it's published a book, and it's actually really amazing. That inspired me to maybe think about something like that. Maybe not a story, but just how accessible it is with Amazon as well. So it's a really great thing to show young people that it's possible to do.
Beautiful, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And it is again a lesson that our children's abilities are actually unlimited. Yeah? I say it again, our children's abilities are unlimited. The only limit is us. And we impose those limits on them. And if, as Marcus Garvey said, that we will create a new civilization that will astonish the world, those words have got to be totally internalized in parents thinking about their sons and daughters. So we raise and continue to raise our expectations of them, of what they can achieve. Yeah. And if we are feeling that the pressure is somewhat challenging, seek help, seek support from other parents, other inspired Africans. Yeah. Because your sons, your daughters are our futures. It is no good that my son and daughter succeed and yours do not. Yeah. It means that the community is not achieving. Yeah. Why it's so important for parents to pay attention to this broadcast, because our guest today will provide help, provide the advice, inspiration for parents, and provide them with tips and ideas how to navigate through this more challenging time where most students are now working from home, and also provide guidance and advice to students as well, someone who's well qualified to provide such help. But I just want to continue to extend my love and gratitude to Sister Segment and her inspired son, young Emperor Malachi, who's got a very cool head on his shoulders. He would not become, big-headed as a result of his more recent achievement, and recognizes that this is just one step in his lifetime progression. It will not be smooth, I might add, and there will be challenges, but I'm confident. I'm truly confident. He has the love of his mother, his family, his friends around him, but he possesses the strength of character, the determination to realize his academic, economic, of course, spiritual potential. Yeah? No pressure, huh? But without such ambition for our children may not achieve. So parents must be ambitious for their children. Which is why, as I said last week, if I'd invited the Prime Minister to be here last week, and I'd, after extending the invitation to the Prime Minister, discovered about this young man, Malachi's book, I would have counseled the Prime Minister and put Malachi in front of him. Because, believe it or not, Prime Ministers come and go, but our children are here for the whole of our lives. And they represent our futures. And that has got to take precedence, as it were, over the desire of a Prime Minister to give propaganda on this platform. Huh? Absolutely. Malachi, well done. I'm going to clap you again. Well done. And other children who wish the same, please do so and tell us about it. Tell us about it. Thank you. But I should also remember, of course, that we have an esteemed elder who listens and occasionally calls in. Elder Norma, who's contributed to this show on numerous occasions. Okay. Elder Norma, YW has been the authentic voice of our ancestors. She can remember living in this country clearly in the 1940s, in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 20s, till today. She had a very clear memory of how British society evolved over that time. Okay, so she always provides a sort of powerful overview on contemporary issues. I spoke to her earlier this week, As you know, in the previous program, she made it clear that she needed to go and be immunized against the COVID-19 virus. I confirm that she had been immunized. I confirm that she's in good fettle, as she would say. We might hear from her later on. She's in good fettle. I can assure you, she's very vibrant. I was talking to her on the phone and she was, oh, my dear, I can talk, but, Elder Norma, oh my gosh. Well, yes, absolutely outstanding. Oh, such a wonderful person, truly inspired, someone you can rely upon to provide sound advice without any bias, without any edge, simply for our best interest. And that is the role of elders and why they are so critical in African tradition. Honoring and giving respect to elders is something that we all must always remember to do. And when they need us, when they're physically frail, we must be there to hold their hands, to support them, through their last days. We must make sure that our elders, when they do pass, it's not a time for sadness, it's a time for joy, to give joy for their lives. But Elder Norma, I can assure you, there's some time for that, She's got an enormous amount to contribute to us and to the world. So, Elder Norma, if you're listening, I say it unto you, praise Jah, hey, Rastafari. Let the affirmation continue to empower you to continue to do the good that you have and will do in the future. Praise be. I also, if you don't mind, Lady Chelsea, just want to give further recognition to a few other contributors, and I believe that there have been a number who have really spoken well and are really good omens to how we move forward as a community. I want to recognize Professor Kevin Fenton. Okay, a professor. I wish he was my son. God, I'd like to say, oh, my son's professor. But anyway, there you are. So we've got to be proud of him. Yeah, got to be proud of him. Yeah, he is the London Public Health Director, extremely senior in the National Health Services hierarchy. And he spoke with authority on the current pandemic and the degree to which our communities are affected. So keeping in mind, it's not because we have a genetic predisposition, it's actually because sociological reasons why there's a slightly higher percentage of ours for a proportion of our people who are affected by the pandemic, okay? And that's because of the frontline jobs, exposure to clients and so on, yeah? And of course, there are some economic, social issues which come to bear, okay? That was clear in his broadcast, but was very clear in his broadcast that he has scrutinized the clinicians, he's ensured that the current immunization program is right for us, and in his professional opinion, someone who is a trained doctor, a trained clinician, that there should be no hesitancy amongst community members in relation to the current immunization program. It's important to continue to communicate that message because he's a trained doctor, highly qualified doctor, a specialist in infectious diseases, someone who has got through all the barriers, those glass ceilings, yeah, has become the public health director for London. Wow, someone who's a natural fighter, yeah, okay? And he spoke lovingly, passionately about his parents in Jamaica. He's not seen them for over a year, but he's making sure that the hesitancy that might be among some of our people, it does not affect his parents, Wow. If you wanted any convincing or reassurance as to the efficacy of the current immunization program, you need to listen to people like Professor Fenton, Kevin Fenton. Look him up if in doubt. Okay? And if in doubt, those of my people who are listening, speak to your GP, to your general practitioner. But I know the overall majority of people who are listening go to their GP whenever they're ill. What I don't understand is why far too many of them listen to YouTube videos or random texts from people they don't know who are planting doubts in the minds of my family members, my friends and associates. Okay, but I can only assume it comes from those who affiliate with the latter-day President Donald Failure Trump. Let me repeat the name: Donald Failure Trump, and his extreme right, far right, KKK, Nazi Party affiliate, Republican Party members propagating negative information to the African communities across the United States of America and beyond. Because that's where this style comes from. Yeah, that's the source of the negative information that's been nefariously targeted at my community. So whenever I hear members of my community spouting some of these words, I then compare their words to the right-wing media, Fox News types in the United States of America. And I see a correlation in the words. And I remind them, that's where you get the words from. Yeah. Yeah, Tuskegee is real. In Alabama, 40, 50 years ago. It was real. It did happen. They did experiment on our people in Alabama. Yes. But African Americans, as they did in Georgia, are asserting themselves in that state and becoming a part of the state legislature. Yep. Gaining positions of power in that state. So never again will our people be experimented on in that manner. It should never happen again. But to prevent it, we must remain alert. Remaining alert means that we've got to be in those positions of power, yeah? Influence how public money is spent. Can you imagine that particular program went on not for 1 year, but for more than a decade? Absolutely disgusting. Yeah. But African Americans are wise. They understand America, and they know what to do to prevent such barbaric behavior ever happening again. But what the naysayers cannot do, or are unable to do, is to show a similar experience in this country, or suggest that the National Health Service will produce a different batch of vaccine for one community versus another. I've invited people to show the evidence here. None has come forward. None has been brought forward. So I will always robustly rebuff the naysayers. It will put our community at risk. That is not happening on my watch. I repeat, not happening on my watch. Praise Jah, Rastafari. Okay. Let me move off this one. We've only got a minute or two, and I know you, Lady Chelsea, you're going to take over. I also want to give recognition. Now that we talked about Kevin Fenton, Professor Kevin Fenton, and I need to give him his correct title, and I think it's always important to remember that, okay? I think we should also remember one other contributor, or I remember made an interesting contribution to the show, okay? And the contributor I want to give light to, and it's one that it goes right really close to me, and that's Cheryl Seeley, okay. An ordinary woman engaged in extraordinary work. She may well be listening right now. Okay. For no financial gain, she helps those in greatest need. She'd help those who've been involved in domestic violence. Help the women and some men, shield them from the violence. Yeah. She'd help those to recover from drug addiction. Yeah. She'd go to their homes and sit with them while they're going through the what do you call it? The what do they call? What's the word here? When you're leaving, when you're off drugs and your body wants to drug. What's that called? What do you call that, Lady Chelsea? Ah. But nevertheless, that's okay. That's why. Nevertheless, I'm aware of at least two individuals who I know personally. She helped. No financial gain. Yeah. She currently works in a care home, helping the elderly. She has devoted her life to helping people. That is a true human being. Yeah. A true human being, to help others for no personal gain, but because they needed help. Magnificent. And do you know what she wanted to do? She's here. She said one of her ambitions is to travel to Africa. So myself and Brother Huey, who may or may not be listening, as it were, who may or not be listening, have agreed to pay for her to visit Ghana. I mentioned at that time that the Global African Congress will this year, in hopefully September time, organize an international family gathering. The Global African Congress, of course, an organization established to call for just reparations for African and African descendants. Descendants, maybe I shouldn't use that word. Africans and Africans worldwide. Just reparations. It's not enough for the European powers, both here in Europe, the Americas, or indeed Brazil, to compensate the enslaver families. But what it did, it ensured the economic destitution of those who were enslaved. So the Global African Congress seeks to call for just reparations for those Africans enslaved, indeed those who were colonized, so that we may have a fruitful economic development. Yeah. So the International Family Day, we've agreed to pay for her, Sister Chelsea, to attend and also to spend more time in Ghana. Okay. And that's a promise I myself, most certainly, and I hope Brother Huey will also commit to and stick to. Assuming this pandemic we can travel then, assuming all goes well, Chelsea will be in Ghana this year. Yeah? Sister Chelsea, and I say unto her, praise Jah, Rastafari, and may you long stay healthy and continue to contribute as positively as you have to our wider community. Thank you, Sister Cheryl. Yeah, an ordinary woman engaged in extraordinary work, a true human being. Okay. All righty, I think I've spoken enough for a little while. I'm going to hand over to you, Lady Chelsea. Let's talk about our remarkable son. Go ahead, I'm going to hand over to you.
need to, I think, show more support in that industry, those
Yes.
people, especially I've seen, teachers strike over the years, and as a child, not really understand why. Thing that I human being.
Actual human being, huh? Lady Chelsea, you make an interesting point there. You make an interesting point. Because I have to admit, maybe you had the same experience during the teenage period when you're going through that physiological change as well. It can be quite destabilizing. And so it's so important that parents at that point, particularly boys, I can't talk about I'm not being a girl, but particularly boys, we boys pretend we don't like to being hugged by our mothers or fathers, we pretend, but I recall being a teenager, 11, 12, in fact, that's when it really happened. And my mother tried to hug me and I was putting away. And she was determined to hug. And, when I finally gave in and let her hug me, it felt so wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And I felt totally reassured. Yeah. And that provided such confidence. Yeah. Absolute confidence. So I say to mums and dads, hug your sons. Yeah. Don't listen to them. Hug your sons. Maybe I may have put you off by saying you must love your sons. Hug them, huh? Hug them, huh? That's right. Yeah.
He was nice. And that's quite young,
Mhm.
quite young.
Mhm.
And I don't know.
Hold on, Lady Chelsea. But you know, often, as I think back, I've actually got some of my old school books. I keep, I'm a bit of a hoarder like that.
Yeah.
And I can see I've written stories, and which went on for more than 25 pages. I used to love writing stories. When I read, I've got only two left now. I can't find the others, unfortunately. And some of the stories blow my mind now. You know, oh yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not saying that, why. That's amazing.
Right? Can you recall any of your poems now? Oh, come on, Lady Chelsea, come on, huh? Do you know what? I'm going to hold you to that. Well, hold on a second. I'm going to hold you to that. Next week, I'm going to ask you for one of your poems.
Okay, I do have them somewhere. I don't know if they were good.
And let me assure you, a poem from you, by you, will be good. Be assured. Be assured.
I'll be confident.
Now remember, I did made a note of it. Lady Chelsea will recite one of her poems. Got it. Okay, and this is being recorded. Oh, I did. Good.
Okay, no, it's fine. But yeah, no, he's
I can add there, Lady Chelsea, that it is available on Amazon. Okay,
yes,
it's available on
yes,
Amazon.
I believe for £15.
That's right.
If I
Yeah.
have that right. So yeah, I would encourage people to go and get support, as you know, to show, encourage. And he said he was going to write another book. I'm sure people purchasing it would give us some motivation to write another one and give us another great story. But yeah, no, I just it was very inspirational, and I like what both of them have done, and who they're trying to become and trying to be, and I really, I really love that.
Okay. If I may just add also, Lady Chelsea, that of course the title of the book is "The Tale of the Adventurous Boy King." In other words, forgive me, just say it again. Tutankhamun, The Tale of the Adventurous Boy King by Malachi Sarus. Okay, there you are. And you can find that on Amazon. And those of you who are receiving the notification for this show will see it quoted in the bottom half of the promotional material, and also a link to the Amazon page. And if there's any difficulty finding that book, please call in or send a message through to us here, and we'll send you the link directly to that book. Okay, now I believe, Lady Chelsea, you're going to ask a question or two. The Malachi provides some questions. We've got maybe 5-10 minutes.
As Motivator said last week, they were so inspired by the
I did, yes.
out
Wow, that's a hard question, isn't it? Oh my gosh. Even I'm thinking about that one. Oh, so those who are under 10 should respond to this question. And if I may, I'll give out the number again, Lady Chelsea. So the number to call, it's 0203 885 2179. And of course, the PIN number to enter is 39957727716, followed by the # sign, as you know, that the horizontal and vertical lines. Okay, so this question is aimed at the under 10s. There you go. All right. Then. Do you want to do the 16 to 11 now, Lady Chelsea?
Yeah. Yes. So the question for the at what age did Tutankhamun die?
Wow, again, another challenging question. Well, I should know, I suppose. So that, again, is for the 16 to 11-year-olds to call in, only 16 to 11-year-olds to respond to that question. At what age did Tutankhamun die? Wow, that should be interesting. Good gosh. And maybe I'll give out the number again, should I, Lady Chelsea? I'll give out the number again. So it's to call, it is 0203 885 2179. And of course, the PIN number, you ask to enter PIN number, which is 39957727716, followed by the # sign, the vertical and horizontal lines. So only young people can call and respond to these questions. Okay, it'd be interesting to see how many young people are up out of their beds and alert for us. And we'll just keep asking the same question until a young person responds. And the prize, of course, Lady Chelsea, we should just keep reminding them. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yes, so the prize is a book. The book that Malachi wrote himself and published and it's on Amazon. You will get that as a prize. So I think it's a great prize.
Okay, go ahead. It's an outstanding prize. 3 copies of the book, and I've yet to arrange it, but I'll obtain a signed copy of the book. Okay, so that will be it'll be signed by Malachi, and the winners will receive 3 copies of this book. Okay, so that's been very good, very good. I believe I might see someone on the line. Is this I don't see a young person on the line. Just making sure. This person's gone now. It's okay. I thought I was looking for a young person. Is there a young person on the line? No, there's not a young person just yet. That's okay. I sort of a series of adults on the line at the moment. Is there a young person on the line? No. Okay. Who wishes to respond to the questions? Okay, fair enough. Don't worry. Let's talk about if I may, Lady Chelsea. Let's just talk about what this implies. That I recall Malachi described how he was able to not so much write the book, but get it published. Apparently, through Amazon, they have a facility that allows you to put together a book. Yeah. I recall he said that. Yeah.
He did say what it was. I've forgotten.
It's okay, and I do recall, and he said that within the Amazon, they've got facilities that allow you to design the front of the book.
they just took, I forgot the percentage, but it takes more percentage of your earnings.
That's right. That's right. And through, again, Amazon, they were able to identify a publisher. Yeah, that's right. They're able to identify a publisher. So it's really, really quite interesting. And it'd be interesting to pursue this one further. So I'll say to the young people listening, there may not be that many at this stage, but we want to stimulate and encourage young people to listen, that if you've achieved anything, if you've done something that you believe is significant and you want to share your achievement with us, I'll give priority to young people coming forward and sharing your achievement with us, with our audience here. Okay, I want to keep that in mind, that we are and remain a child-centered place. Okay, we do this ultimately to ensure that our children can benefit. Okay. Now, I wonder if we have a call on the line who is a young person who's ready to answer one of those questions. Is there a young person on the line?
I'm not a young person, but I like to comment about the young boy.
You may. You have to, only for a few minutes. Yep, go ahead. Can I ask you to introduce yourself, please, caller?
I'm sorry?
Can you introduce yourself, caller?
I think you should recognize the voice by now.
Oh gosh. Well, I recognize your voice, but the audience members who may not recognize your voice. Introduce yourself.
My name is Kwame, the man who talks truth to power.
Praise be. Praise be. Welcome. You have a comment?
We give thanks for that. And,
Praise Joe. Lady
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Lady Chelsea.
Yeah.
Hello.
Now, quickly, very briefly.
Yeah.
What mine has demonstrated is the need for us to have our own schools and have our own institutions, because apparently, from what I gather, the young man is home trained. Is that correct?
Indeed, he's been homeschooled. He's 14 years old.
Is that correct?
Say again?
And just to confirm, he's homeschooled, yes?
He's homeschooled. He's 14 years old.
Right, indeed. So it shows you, A, that the tenacity and the capacity of his parents to instill in him a certain pride of himself and of his blackness, and to also put in him a degree of aptitude that has enabled him to actually write a book.
Absolutely.
He was at the better schools, for want of a better word. These conferences, these so-called academies, these schools within the mainstream society, I call them better schools, because fundamentally the teachers there, with all respect to them, right? I did school over in Nottingham a good while ago, so I know this is true. A lot of these teachers haven't got the acumen to bring out of our children in particular their greatness that's inside of them. And Malachi's parents have been able to demonstrate this by releasing or being able to ignite of him that genius that is already in him as a black child. For him to be able to have the capacity to write a book at the age of just 14.
Mm-hmm.
So this indicates, and I've stated this all along, and I will never apologize for this, and I've never shared from this, that we need our own schools, and fundamentally we need people that look like us, who love us, that we teach our children to realize their potential. If Malachi was in those white schools, he would have never even gotten closer to realize true potential, let alone writing a book at that age. Why?
Okay.
Because even from my own experience, as a school girl, and I've seen it flesh, I've seen it firsthand. When a black boy or black girl puts their hand up in the classroom, I was shouting that 15 years ago as a school governor. One of that in the classroom. And when the black boys and black girls raise their hands, the white teachers will pass them and go to a white or an Asian child. What does that psychologically do to the mindset of a black boy and a black girl sitting in the classroom?
Mm-hmm. Can I just think? Let me, if I may, then. Yeah.
Keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
And your parents are marble, and you are marble in their eyes.
Thank you. Brother Kwame, I want to thank you for that. And I think it's also important for me to say, though, that being a former school governor myself, whilst the experience which you've highlighted is absolutely true, okay, we shouldn't overly generalize. Because I think there are tens of thousands of our children who are being taught by white, Asians, and other peoples and are performing well. Yeah, and I think we need to give some recognition where we see that happening. But forgive me, let me finish. But I do agree that I would like to see at least one of these academy chains led by an African community representatives. Okay, I would like to see at least one. At the moment I don't come across any at the moment, and I believe that is a deficiency that we have the ability to resolve. Okay, so I want to join with you. In calling for those academics, those teachers, those who are able to come together to form an educational institution that placed them in the position to manage schools and other higher places of education for most certainly the benefit of the members of our community, but indeed for all communities. Because what we'll be demonstrating is our leadership, our inspired leadership that benefits both our children and all children will benefit. So I want to join with you on that, Brother Kwame. But Brother Kwame, it's now 9 o'clock. Our guest has arrived. So I'm going to thank you for your contribution. Praise Jah, Rastafari. Thank you. Lady Chelsea?
Yes.
Now, we haven't heard from a young person this week, okay? So we're going to work harder to encourage young people to listen to our show, okay? We may be perceived to be an adult show, okay? So we need to think about changing our profile because young people see it as a place that they can relate to, okay? So you and I are going to have to put our heads together and figure out how can we encourage the parents, indeed young people, to listen to at least that 30-minute segment of our show, which will be devoted to young people. Okay. So this week we've not been able to give away a copy of Malachi's book. Okay. But we'll try again next week. But we need to think about how we encourage parents to encourage their children to listen to our show between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. All right, so let's think about that. It's okay. These are lessons for us, okay? But nevertheless, it was a really, really useful exercise. And I think you would agree with me, we remain a child-centered show, a show that gives priority to young people and thinks about what their needs are, and indeed the future needs of the community, which means ensuring these are young people, those who are children now, young people who are growing who are going through either school or higher places of learning or just embarked upon their careers. We've got to think about how we support them through that experience. Yeah? This year we can do that during that 30-minute segment, okay? But that's okay. But if I may then, just take us through to our guest today. And before I introduce my guest, I just want to say that Malachi and his mother, Sister Segment, inspired what we are going to do today. Because as Brother Kwame said, okay, and Brother Kwame and I don't always agree, all right? But the essence of his words are fundamental, that we need to be much more assertive, we must be in those places of learning, yeah? As we must be in those other places that we, through our taxes, contribute to, in the local authorities, in the health sector, yeah? In the fire services, in the ambulance services, indeed be in industry, yeah? both as employees and indeed leaders of companies. Yeah, we must be in those places. Yeah, yeah. Therefore, the actions of all agencies such as the police force, for example, which seeks actively to criminalize our sons in particular, okay, our actions of this program will rebel against, yeah, and we will continue to resent where those police officers who abuse our sons still retain political cover. Okay, that must stop. Okay, but through our action, through activities, through programs like this, those changes will happen. But returning to Malachi and his inspired mother, okay, what that program brought out is that Malachi's mother, as Brother Kwame has demonstrated again and again, truly inspired, believed in her son's abilities, has unreserved love for her son, and will do whatever is necessary to support our son through these stages of his personal development. And education, as a former Labour leader would have said, is critical to her son's forward development. But how to deliver this, how to consistently do this, is a challenge for many parents. And being a parent myself, I've been through that experience. Okay, so it seems right that this time, this particular week, as a follow-on from last week, is this. How is this done? Okay, is sister segment Malachi's mother an exception, or is she actually the rule? Okay, but in order for it to be the rule, what are the support mechanisms that the community needs to build and the family needs to build to support the parent, to support their sons and daughters? Yeah? So this week's show, this last hour, we want to devote to looking at this issue. So we've invited Elder Dalian Adofo, a former secondary school teacher, a MirandaNet fellowship scholar, and an educationist. Okay, and those of you who are in receipt of my promotion for his show will see links to his website, which we'll talk more about shortly. First of all, Elder Dalian, are you on the line? Just to make sure you're there, first of all.
Yes, greetings. Councillor Martin, good morning to you. Thanks for having me. I am on the line.
Wonderful, wonderful. And whilst you're right, I'm a counsellor, but in this format, I am the motivator, where we translate these words into action. There you go.
It's good to be here, Motivator.
Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to be myself. Huh? This is my true self, if I may say so. This is my true self, the motivator. Huh? Okay. First of all, thank you for accepting the invitation to appear today. Okay, we felt there was an important extension to last week's show, as you've heard, and I understand you may actually know the family, Malachi's mother and Malachi. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. I knew them primarily on the home education circuit within London. Yes.
Okay.
We've met, we've shared learning spaces and learning initiatives as well.
Right.
Over the years. Yes.
Wow. Now, if I may say so, this is why I know we are surrounded by our ancestors. You know, it was how you and I met was completely different route.
Yes.
Yeah, completely different route.
Okay.
And for us, this is now the conjunction point. We've now met because the ancestors decreed we should meet. Yeah. I'm just going to spend a moment just tell the listeners through a completely different route. And when I was referred to Elder Dalian, I asked him, well, could you tell me a bit more about yourself? Do you have a website or anything like that? He sent me to a website. Okay. And I've got to tell you, I want to tell the listeners, I was blown away by the website. And this website, Debbie, I'll best describe it to others here. In fact, let me not say this. Tell the listeners about the website that you referred me to, and just summarize what its purpose is. And I know the listeners will therefore understand why I don't want to understate the importance of this website. Please, Dalian, explain to listeners.
Yes, the Motivator. The website that I referred you to was an educational initiative set up by myself and my wife 11 years ago called Ancestral Voices. The website's URL is ancestralvoices.co.uk. And it's a website that has all our learning resources, lectures, videos, books, courses, and that all seek or cover the topic of African spiritual systems or knowledge systems. And that's what we've spent the last 10 years documenting and preserving. And because we realize the importance of at least having an understanding of our ancestral ways. And, if we look throughout our history, particularly the interaction with slavery, there's nowhere that you will find emancipation without finding the deeply seated, rooted aspect of our spiritual systems. These days we don't really cover it so much again because we've been very disconnected from it, and as a result, we see ourselves finding ourselves in very, should we say, disempowered spaces and disempowered communities. But yes, that's what Ancestral Voices at its core is to bring back an appreciation of this knowledge and for us to get a true and total understanding of ourselves as African descended people or melanated people. So that's the core function of Ancestral Voices.
Thank you. And I have to tell you that often when I go to these websites, other Dalian I'd only just met, he provided the URL for Ancestral Voices with an S at the end, .co.uk. And typically when I go to websites, I go to the About section. I want to know about the organization or individuals behind it. What really blew me away, and I know others will understand this, is that you're there with your wife, embracing her. Dalian, that was beautiful, is beautiful. I'm looking at it now. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. I hope you don't mind me saying your wife is beautiful also, okay? Absolutely. And I read through yourselves and I was blown away, truly inspired. And you asked for a donation. I instantly gave a donation. No hesitation. Yeah. We need more of this. The website is Ancestral Voices with an S at the end, .co.uk. I positively wish to encourage those listening to go to that website. I felt instantly connected to you. Instantly. And I knew you were the right person to lead this discussion on how parents can support their children, and indeed what support the community can offer to their mothers and fathers. Okay. So first of all, can I just ask you, please? You have given a hint of it. Just give us something of your background. And I introduced you as being a former secondary school teacher. I don't know if you were a specialist, or just give us a bit more about your background, if I may, Elder Dalian.
Yes, sure. The motivator. And by the way, I don't know if I've got to the age to be reflected. I was glad to take that.
I hear you.
Being wise beyond my years.
You are wise. You are wise.
Yes, so my journey into education actually starts through youth work. We're going back some 20 odd years now. I was a youth worker at the community center known as the Avenues in Queen's Park. And it's through my work in Queen's Park that I ended up being seconded into education. Because at the time, I was what you would call one of these not in employment or education young people.
Okay. All right.
And so I ended up on a digital arts course that was being provided for, again, the title was the disadvantaged young people in the inner cities. So I ended up on it. I loved the course, produced some work. It was put in an exhibition, and then I got seconded to start teaching at City of Westminster College. So actually, my education into education, my in 2013 when I actually left at that time I was in middle management. I was heading an ICT department.
Right. So how long were you a teacher for? Let's have clear.
I left mainstream education, so I was in education as a teacher for 15 years.
Excellent. And you use the terminology IIT, what did you, I think, and computers. What's those acronyms mean? I know many parents do not know what it means.
So ICT means information and communication technology.
Right.
And it basically refers to the use of generally applications and programs. So like if you're using Microsoft Word, it's an example of information and communication technology, because you're using technology to communicate some type of information in some way. Exactly the same thing we're doing now.
Indeed.
Using
Yes.
this app Jitsu. So it's ICT mainly deals with the use of apps in existence, whereas computing deals with, I guess, writing the code that creates the apps that we use.
Thank you.
So that's the key distinction between ICT and computing. And back then, we used to mainly study computing at predominantly O and A level. But after now, computing is what has been used to, I guess, to a large degree, phase out ICT.
I understand you. Thank you for that clarification. And I know that would have helped quite a number of listeners who are always grappling with our edu speak is what I... yeah. It's okay. So, and just to be clear, though, so you progressed on to further education and teaching students in further education, ICT.
Yes, that's actually where I started.
Right,
so
gotcha.
I started at college level. Predominantly, most of the children I was teaching at City of Westminster College were those who have been excluded from mainstream secondary school. So most of my students have come from that background.
Right.
I also at that time ran a community extension at a youth center because the college also opened up a branch. So it was basically trying to address the needs of the children who sadly end up falling through the cracks.
Yes. Thank you. I think Lady Chelsea may well have a question on tips, guardian tips. Yep.
Tips. Yeah, sorry. So I was wondering if you had maybe 5 top tips for students.
Okay. For students in their learning, one of the things that we, and even I think as a child I used to do this, whereby you instead of learning or pacing your learning over time or across even let's say the term or the year, you tend to try and cramp it all towards the end when you know the exams are about to come.
Can I just pick up on there? If I continue to call you Elder Dalian, because it gives you the right positioning, if I may. It is interesting, and in my time as school governor, I can underscore what you've described is correct, particularly amongst boys. You know, when this over desire in some cases to pursue sporting activities. Okay, but I'm shy when it's to sit down with a friend and to engage in academic research, you know, for their schoolwork. And you're describing an obvious methodology. Maybe you might want to indicate to parents how they can encourage that to happen. You know, but that's, you know, for boys, I'm particularly concerned with boys at the moment, but I'll get on to girls thereafter. But let's look at the boys and their youth culture, as it were. It's how to counter or reshape the youth culture so it's more orientated towards academic learning, as it were. Well, what would your suggestion be for particularly boys who are listening to what you've described, the forming of study groups, and for study groups to become, he says, cool?
Yes. Well, I don't think for anything we can have a silver bullet, if you will,
Okay.
a one-size-fits-all approach, because you know circumstances are vastly different across the country, not even just London, because of different life situations. But where one of the things that we
Okay.
You know, to me, I think we kind of set up. Yes, it's almost like a kind of false expectation. You know, there is a time in the world for everything. There's a time to be sad. There's a time to be serious. There's also a time to study. So parents have to, I guess, get firm with it. Put a day that you want to see your child. You tell your child that you want to see them with at least a friend from school, where they spend just a simple hour reading one of the academic books in your house, in your presence. I think that's one of the ways we can implement that.
I can tell you're a teacher, you know. I'm going to give out the number because we've got a few more questions to ask you, but parents and others who wish to engage our learned but elder, and you don't mind me saying again, elder educationist, who's here to give advice, both our young people and parents, how to deliver that primary objective. And I would just restate what our primary objective: children to achieve some economic, and of course spiritual success. Okay. So the number to call, once I open the line formally, will be 0203 485. And followed by the PIN number, which is of course 39957727716, followed by the ash sign. And of course, that's the vertical and horizontal lines. Okay. I'm not sure if you completed, Elder Dalian, the final tip for students to fully engage in this sort of teaching and learning experience. But you made one more tip for them.
Is this for the students?
Yes, for the student. Yeah.
Yes. So beyond the study group, the last one I would recommend is, well, it kind of falls into the timetable, because it was really going to be in terms of having discipline. But it is, because discipline is also more like a personal trait. To know when to put the computer game down. I can actually only just imagine my own nephew. I have to kind of use it personal. Then at some point, the parents had to intervene.
Yes.
Because it became a full-blown addiction.
Yes.
Whether he wouldn't hadn't talked to anyone, all he wanted to do was sit in front of this machine and just play it all day.
Yes.
It was a struggle to get him off it, but we ended up doing it. But one of the things that I think we found from that process was, because as of now he's training to be a mechanic. What he needed was something that caught his interest. So you gave a structure to everything you do.
What do you mean by discipline? Because I know that when you use that term, I can hear both sons and daughters shaking. Oh no, it means that if I do something wrong, I can get beatings, or the whip will come out, or whatever.
I didn't even mean it from managing behavior. That's the word. I meant discipline from having the wisdom and knowledge to know that, okay, I've played the computer for an hour and a half. And in school you've been taught that if you sit behind computer, any electronic device for more than an hour and a half, you're increasing the chances of you developing what they call RSI.
If I may, I need to pursue just further on that one, because it really is an important observation. You're speaking to a child, and what you're saying is the child must be able to practice self-discipline. I think it's what you really mean. Yep, self-discipline. But that self-discipline is an aspect of the wider self. Yep, of the wider self, as opposed to simply studying. Again, we're speaking to children, so the language we use has to be appropriately differentiated for them. So again, I think you might. They are listening, and this program will be repeated. It will go out to the tens of thousands of people. So I want to get the wordings right, so a child can correctly interpret what we mean by self-discipline. Okay. And I'm going to ask you to expand upon it. I can, but you're my guest, so I'm going to let you do that heavy work. That's the right language a child would understand. From the moment they wake up, what does this self-discipline and how might it manifest itself? Yeah.
Thank you very much for that, Phil. Gives me a chance to really elaborate and also remind me of being the main audience. So, at its simplest for all children and young people listening, what self-discipline looks like is the best way for me to put it is what is the best way you can organize your day such that you get the most from it, such that you can get a piece of your own time where you have fun and enjoy yourself. Let's say that might be your computer game time. How will you put your day such that you ensure that after your computer time, you can also put in some revision time? Yes. How much time will you make space for? So I don't know, even if you need to message out your friends through social media or your phone, does that need to take 3 hours? You know, so self-discipline is about putting your own day in order. You see, such that it's the best possible use of the day. Yes, that is the simplest way I can put it. And to organize your day such that you make the best possible use. So, you know, there's a time for you to get ready every day. There's a time for you to study. There's a time for you to have fun. There's a time for you to also socialize with your friends. Plan your day for you to have the most that you can from it. It cannot just be a day that you spend doing one thing only, which is on social media or playing a game.
Absolutely. I'm going to have you pause there on that one because I suspect we need a program just focus on that particular point, you know, because in my humble experience, it's a fundamental observation you're making, you know, how to encourage our children to exercise self-discipline, you know. When you have a disagreement with someone, should it end up in a fight? Or should it be a robust dialogue between peers, you know? And how can you keep it at that level so it no longer becomes a physical altercation, you know? Self-discipline. And I'm going to have you back on that particular point because I suspect your Ancestral Voices website alludes to solutions. See. In fact, I know it does, but I'm not going to pursue it right now, as I said, because it's okay. But I know you already have the solution.
We're talking about empire. We talk about slavery. We talk about slavery. We talk about slavery. And one of the
Okay. Oh, we lost someone there. Okay. If I may just go back to Lady Chelsea, you may want to ask about parents. I think.
Great points for the students. I just wanted to know if you had 5 top tips for guardians and parents and how to kind of lead their children into self-discipline and those kind of things that you stated.
Yes, no, absolutely. Because really much of what the children or the child grows and develops into is parents underestimate their influence on the development of their own child.
Indeed.
Yeah?
Yes.
We think is the institution that will give us yourself.
Yeah.
And this becomes a case of can be as simple as pointing out a scientific advance that you've seen in a free newspaper like the Metro. And you should also learn with your child. You should make time where you actually learn with the child. You know, again, as I said, 1 hour a week alone is fine. Because and also show your child your vulnerability. There's not everything that you know.
Indeed.
I think sometimes as adults we want to pretend that we're these perfect things to our children, and the children actually know. You know, they see through the kind of full appearance, you know. Just you don't know something, it's fine. You actually shows your child, oh, look, mommy and daddy or mommy or daddy didn't know
Elder Dalian, forgive me for interrupting. I have to say, the young Prince Malachi posed 2 questions, one for the under 10s and one for the 16 to the 11s. And I'll be really frank with you, I don't know the answers. I would have to look up the answers. Oh dear. Indeed. Yes.
To learn it. Let's just
Absolutely.
So let's learn to learn with our children and show our vulnerability. We're not, nobody knows it all. And by doing so, you also make them confident to be willing to make mistakes and learn through that experience too.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And for those of us who have our children, as well as those who homeschool, it's important to key for you to also understand that the curriculum yourself.
Can I just say this then? Forgive me for interrupting it again. I'm just thinking about the parents listening to this, and because I've been there and I've met thousands. I know that they might say, "But I'm working, and I have to work hard. I'm tired." And the other refrain, of course, is it looks very complex. It doesn't look like a syllabus, a curriculum that I experienced when I was at school. So for the parents, both they're working and of course the curriculum is very different. It's a challenge for them, isn't it, Elder Dalian?
Yeah. Again, the motivator, you know, when I say look at the curriculum, you see, sometimes we make things too complex when things should be simple. Yeah? When I say look at the curriculum, like there's a website like BBC Bitesize. It's not even for you, the adult, to go and get a deep understanding of the topic, right? Most schools have or publish what they call the curriculum map. So all I'm advising the parent to do is, if your child, let's say, is in year 5 in secondary school, or your child is in year 8 in secondary school, sorry, the first should have been primary. All you just need to know is, okay, in maths this term, my child is supposed to learn, let's say, what fractions are, what decimals are, what should we say, how to even use word processing.
Yes.
There is not a single subject that, let's say, you cannot find a YouTube video for in this day and age. So I'm actually going to challenge you on the fact that, you know, you might say that it might be too difficult, because we all know this. Who doesn't learn things from? People learn how to build houses from watching YouTube videos.
It is true.
This is not actually an age of disempowerment at all. The only difference that will where we would then be able to identify that people themselves might be too lazy to do it. It will take me 25 minutes. The curriculum map that most schools produce are simple things.
Okay.
In between January to March, we're going to learn, as I said, fractions, decimals, let's say equations. You don't need to understand, know that in any depth, but you need to know it. So if your child has come to you and say, "Oh, mommy or daddy, I'm struggling with equations," you can say, "Okay, you know what? Let's first of all start off with the easiest thing. Let's go to Google and YouTube and see if we can find a video that explains what fractions are."
Yes.
You and the child sitting there watching that 5-minute video. Remember, most videos are 5 minutes. It can literally take 5 minutes to get an in-depth explanation.
Absolutely.
So we're not really asking for a big investment of time at all.
Yes. Yes.
In 10-15 minutes, you can make a significant impact with your child.
All right, then about a supplementary question on that. So I acknowledge what you just said, that you are absolutely right, of course. But of course, the other part of this is, would it be reasonable for the school to declare at the beginning of term what the curriculum that the sons and daughter will complete during that half-term period, so that the parent is aware in advance? Or should the parents simply wait until the child presents their homework and indicate, "I need to do the following, but I'm finding it difficult"? So, which way round, or neither mutually exclusive, I wonder?
That's an excellent question. If you're reactive, yes, this is where you're saying that the parent is sitting there waiting for the curriculum or the school.
Indeed.
Chances are you've already lost.
Indeed.
You cannot win from a place of reactive.
Indeed.
You have to be proactive.
Absolutely.
In all things, we have to encourage a sense of proactiveness.
Absolutely.
So
yes.
The school has a responsibility to publish that map anyway, and most of them do it, but they just put it in the website.
Yeah.
Space. Yeah. So the question we have to ask is, how many parents have bothered to check their own school's website?
Indeed.
Beyond when they put like public announcements about the school closing due to the weather.
Yes.
We have to, life is about having, it's your life. You have to take ownership for it.
Absolutely.
And the only way we can do that is by fostering a proactive mindset. We don't have to wait for things to happen to us. Enough has happened to us as Black people already.
Indeed.
We now to learn how to happen to life too. And to do that, we have to be proactive. So even if the thing doesn't concern us, I've forgotten there's one of these, one of our Black icons. Sorry, the name will come to me. But the reason why the story touched me so much was this, and it was a daughter as well, a girl. Her parents, they couldn't read. So, but every day that she'll get home and she'll open up her school books, the mom will sit there and pretend that she was reading with her child.
Oh, wow.
Fraction to your child, 10 minutes of it, 5 minutes of it can change your life. But that comes from someone who is proactively engaged with their children. And when I say this doesn't need to be something you're doing 24/7 in a day, because it's not possible. As you said, we all have work. Sometimes you come home, you're tired, you don't have the motivation. No, I get all of that. But this is what brings me to my last tip. I say you need an element of routine. For you, the parent as well, you need some timetable for your own self.
Yes.
And in this routine or timetable, you have your spaces too for rest. Because you're only human. You don't want to overwhelm yourself.
Yes.
Yeah? And the only way you can understand that is to have something that you can look at visually or work with. That in there, you've also planned your own me time. So you always have energy to be proactive and to meet these needs of your children. Because they're immense.
Yes. Yes.
You know, this is why in the African system we say it takes a village to raise a child.
Absolutely.
It's very hard for even a couple to do something wrong.
It's so true.
Where we're living, where we've lost that sense of, and largely, we haven't lost it totally, but we largely don't have this sense of being able to reach out and work with even our own neighbors and sometimes family. That's one of the only solutions I can think of.
Wow.
That routine and put everything that you need in there, you know?
Thank you. That's very, very good. And there are some additional pointers. I can see that we, in terms of the subject matter we've taken on today, we don't have enough time to go through it in the depth which I would like to. But I hope this is a really useful starting point for both our children and parents who are seeking support to ensure that our children's potential can and is realized. And again, I want to keep emphasizing the reason why we've invited you and thinking about the parents and our children. We want to consider how to support our children to achieve the academic, economic, and of course, spiritual success. From that, we gain that stability and robustness to survive in life. But there are a number of follow-on questions from what you described, and most certainly a program on so-called discipline, or indeed self-discipline, is one I want to. I suspect will be beneficial, which is why I had to qualify that meaning.
Yes, no, thanks for doing that because I didn't even realize myself.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, especially in our community.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The moment you said it, I saw the belt coming out. You see, I saw it waving around. Yeah. Okay, so we can use this belt. You know.
Not that type because we see even with jail systems.
Yes, indeed.
And because once you do that,
Yeah.
it's almost like the sign we give the child is that okay, that beating has taken away your bad behavior, or it's replaced it.
Yeah.
So then it's not fostered any sense of holding responsibility to say, okay, I won't do it again.
Yeah.
What would be more effective, because most things are psychological, is to have a conversation with the child for them to realize the consequences of what they've done.
Absolutely.
Because then again, you see, we come back to this idea of ownership. In owning their behavior, this is an act of power.
Yes. Yes.
That whipping and excessive whipping is a sign of you trying to release your frustration, you know?
And suppression.
So, yeah, we
Yes.
need to be mindful of that. Thank you so much for...
No, very, very good.
I contextualize what I was saying.
So we definitely will do a program centered around that, because discipline stroke self-discipline is a biggie. I've observed far too many young people engage in interpersonal altercation, which leads to physical altercations. Okay, and it's those altercations that then lead to knife crime often, you know, or the way to settle dispute is through some truly violent engagement. Wholly unnecessary, but I don't blame the children. I blame us, the adults, the community, the village, for not intervening in that child's early development and teaching these crucial lessons which we've announced today as to how we should, all of us should, resolve differences, you know, because differences is simply a fact of life, you know. I should give out the number again, and I'm conscious that we've been talking and may not give an opportunity for others to call in, but I'll give out the number again. So it's 0203 885 2179, followed by the PIN number 399 57 27716, followed by the # sign. I'm receiving quite a few text messages, and I suppose I should read out some here, if I may. I always find in these types of programs where parents are being asked to give personal testimony, I suppose. It is an interesting one. And one parent here says that the school should provide an online start of term, and so you know what to research. And I think the parents here is actually saying that the school should provide a facility, either send a letter home to parents listing out what the child will do this particular half term, or it should be, I think you may have hinted it, on the school website, so that each year group, each educational group, the parent knows what will be on the curriculum and what that child therefore will be taught on a week or monthly basis. That seemed perfectly reasonable to me. Would you not say?
Yes, no, I totally agree with Motivator. It's not made. Should we say? They don't put it in your face, but it's there. So again, I think the assumption is those who really care about it will go find it. It's not the best, yes, absolutely. So I do agree that perhaps maybe one of the things we could do then is to have a lobby to say, okay, maybe it needs to come in a paper or letter-based format. Because most parents tend to then engage more with letters that come from the school home.
Yes.
Than maybe, no. So that there's definitely some wisdom in there you have to take forward.
Yeah, these are interesting observations, and it seems now, as the parents wrote it to me, it seems blindingly obvious, really, isn't it? Really, in any other work we've been involved in, preparation is 9/10 of success. So if it's a partnership between home and school, then the school needs to keep parents fully informed. Not only when Johnny or son or daughter is doing good or not so good work, but also to help the parent to support the school in the teaching and learning experience. And that means sharing critical information. That's an obvious part of that. But fascinating. And now I'm conscious we now only have 4 minutes left. I'm really sorry, time has run off with us, so it's fine. So there are a few other messages, but I won't take those messages on this occasion. We will definitely have to have you back again, Dalian. There is unfinished business here. We definitely want to tackle the issue of the discipline and self-discipline. Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
I think it's needed.
We need to slightly expand upon support and how parents can support their sons and daughters. Okay. And I also want to give a little more time to giving them further explanation to the website and the Ancestral Voices, okay, .co.uk, which I believe is an excellent piece of work, and we most certainly must give promotion to this website. Okay, so so my question to you, in fact, let me do it right now. Would you be available next week?
We have much.
So sorry, if you could.
Yes, of course. Would you be available next week?
This is next Saturday.
Yes.
I can't make myself available.
Brilliant. In that case, then thank you. This is part 1. Part 2 will be next week. I want to thank you for your sharing your wisdom with us. Thank you for those who've listened and have been quiet but have taken note. And I want to say to Lady Chelsea, but she will say something herself. Thank you all for your contributions, because this has been an excellent exchange of minds. And I may say to you, Elder Dalian, and to your wife, I want you to continue to stay safe and continue the good work. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Motivator and Lady Chelsea, for having me. It's
Pleasure.
Lovely getting to speak. I look forward again.
Thank you. Lady Chelsea?
Yes, no, it's been a really good conversation. I've really learned a lot, and that's in perspective of parents and children. Got really good tips and to do a passion with the education system. So thank you, and I look forward to next week's conversation.
Wonderful. And we're now on time. This should allow for for our next program, which I believe will be led by Sister Jasanra. Hopefully she's she's ready and waiting to take over the airwaves. But I just want to say thank you all for listening. This is part one. Clearly, part two will build upon the experience from part one. You can tell that Elder Dalian has a great deal to share. It's people like him who are the foundations of civilizations. So I say to you all, praise Jah Rastafari. Engineer, take it away. Thank you.